And our next guest is a lady called Diana Gaspar-Peña, and she is into all kinds of art. So we're just going to let her go ahead and tell us what she does. Hi, Diana. It's really good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
What brought you here? Did somebody call you? Or?
I did. Actually, they called my husband.
Oh.
Yeah. And since he's kind of my agent as well, manager, agent, and also collaborator. You see, he builds some of my frames for my artwork.
Wow, that's really something to have your frames made.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like you're a good partnership here.
Yes, we absolutely do. Yeah, we both grew up in San Jose and retired here to Fresno.
No, what brought you to Fresno?
Well, 5 years ago, I was invited to participate in the Chicano Family Festival, and I fell in love with it. My mother and father, 25 years previously, had retired here to Fresno as well from San Jose. And so I was familiar with Fresno, not real familiar, but familiar with Fresno. And then after that event, I started to meet a lot of artists, and I thought, gee, Fresno is really, they have all these artists, and they have an art hop, and they, and it was very cohesive, a very friendly community of artists. So that was kind of the reasoning behind the retirement, to be included into an artist community like this.
That's fantastic. We welcome you in.
Thank you.
We want to hear more about your specific types of art, because you do a lot of different things.
I do. I'm known specifically for my art dolls. I make different types of art dolls with polymer clay, and I try to make them articulated, so that they're movable and posable. The last one that I collaborate with my husband. As a matter of fact, we made a marionette.
Oh, wow.
And I'm a self-taught artist. It was, I worked for many years in the Silicon Valley, 9 to 5, more,
tell me about it.
more like 10, 12-hour days, sometimes. And I was injured. And after my injury, my back injury, I wasn't able to continue in the same industry. And but what it did was it forced me to find a way to cope with the pain. And I was really inspired by Frida Kahlo, because that's what had happened to her. Her illness pretty much was the springboard really to her art, and I mean, she's fabulous. So she was kind of like my muse as well.
Yes.
And so
I saw the movie about her, and I fell in love with her.
Right. So that helped me and inspired me, because I thought, well, she was in pain, a lot of pain, and she was able to really create such beautiful work. And so I started to work with polymer clay in bed. I spent a lot of time in bed just trying to relax and stretch and whatnot. And then, but I'd had my moments where I could work with clay, and then I started to paint. I don't have a art background. I wasn't ever able to take any classes at college, because you had to be an art major to get any art classes.
Yeah, I know.
And I wasn't an art major. But so I started with a couple of different techniques, and one that I'm think fairly well known for now, because I developed a technique where the Mexican cut paper, papel picado, it's the beautiful banners that you see at all the festivals and whatnot. So I did my homage to that. And what I do is I create a design and paint it in with watercolor. Then I go back with an X-Acto knife and cut every little opening out by hand.
Wow.
Then I come back and I saturate all the edges with the watercolor paint. And so it's, I call it watercolor papel picado. And so I've done some pieces that have been shown at Arte Americas. I've had a couple of, I've been involved in a couple of shows there.
Mm-hmm.
And then also up in San Francisco and Oakland. And recently the director of Arte Americas, Frank Delgado, took some of my pieces to Los Angeles, and they're showing there at Studio 50.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great.
So
That's wonderful.
So it's coming along, and I have one painting that I painted as papel picado, but it's a painting.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cut out, but a lot of people, because they're familiar with my work, they'll come up to it to see, because I shadowed it, and it looks like papel picado, like
Wow.
it's actually cut out, and so I got a big kick out of that. But a lot of the work that I have, there's the painting that I was talking
I was
about.
going to ask you if you brought something.
Yeah, that's my papel picado.
Oh,
That's Frida.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. And of
Oh.
course the frame was created by my husband.
Beautiful
Yeah,
too.
he did
Wow.
the effect on it.
I think
he
I picked the wrong husband. I don't get any frames.
I know. I got lucky. I got really lucky.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is. I love the color, the
Yeah.
turquoise and the gold.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
No, he helps a lot with my ideas. I can bounce ideas off of him, and so that really helps, because you know as an artist you sometimes are second guessing yourself,
I am.
and you just need somebody to say no, you're done. Otherwise you'd stay at a painting for a little too long.
It is hard to know when to stop.
To stop.
You always want to one more little thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then, years later, if you don't do it, you're going to go back and still want to do that.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I know that you also do jewelry. I'm looking
Yes.
at this beautiful necklace that you
Yes.
have here.
This was inspired by a very popular Aztec piece, and what I did was I gave it my slant on it. I made the face a little bit more human.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's in Aztec design, it's usually a little bit more abstract, so I made the middle face a little bit more human.
Yes, a wonderful nose. You got that's,
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
great. That's
So I
great.
draw a lot on my culture, but I don't want to be pigeonholed into just one type of art, because I love history. I just love history. I want to do Cleopatra. I want to do
Wow,
Pele.
that would be
I want to
wonderful.
do all these.
Do the
different-
ladies.
Yes, the ladies, definitely.
It's the ladies' show
Yeah.
today, kids.
Uh-huh. It is. It's wonderful, because we don't get enough attention, I think, or positive attention in any case.
Right.
But so I hope to eventually have a jewelry line that corresponds with also with fashion,
Mm-hmm.
because I want it to be somewhat friendly. There's a lot of things that are misunderstood, so far as culturally, and I
Oh.
think that I have a one painting where I have a Mexican dragon. It's Quetzalcoatl. And you see a lot in the fairy tales where they have the princess and the dragon.
Yeah.
And so this is my version of the dragon, and she's my princess. That's Frida. But I have the dragon there, and he's the plumed serpent.
I love it.
So that was my take on, something that I saw in a different form, but I decided to give it a Mexican Aztec flair to it.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful.
And very colorful. I think people are familiar with my work, know that I'm very colorful. I use all the primary colors, as many as I can.
Just like you color
Yes.
what you have on today.
Exactly.
All colors. I love colors too.
Yeah.
But my boss sort of likes something plain and with something pretty on it or
Right.
something. So
Well,
I wear all sorts of different things.
I think that's a woman's prerogative. We can go subtle, and then we can get very bright and
Right.
go-
So anyway, now how can people get to see your work and buy some of it?
Well, I am slated for October at the Art Hop at Tower Underground.
Tower Underground. I've not
Such a
heard of
term.
that one.
Tower District Records, thank you.
Tower District Records. Okay.
I'm not real familiar with Fresno yet. My husband, he's coined a new term for us because we're not from Fresno, but we love Fresno. And I know a lot of people look at us like, you love Fresno? Yes, we do. We love Fresno.
I love it too.
Yeah, so he says we're Fresnicans.
Oh, good. Can I join that Fresnican thing? Oh, that sounds good.
So we've settled really well into this valley. We love
Okay,
it.
so how can people buy
Okay,
some?
so through the Art Hop, I don't have my Etsy shop up right now, but I do have an Etsy shop coming up soon under my name, Diana Gaspar-Peña.
Wonderful.
And so my jewelry will be available, and some clothing items and some bags. But generally, I have shows that I've done in a yearly fashion. So here and there, throughout the art hops, and then through some of the shows that I do in the Bay Area and also in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we want people to be able to see this work, so go on Art Hop to, what's the name of that one again?
Tower District
Tower
Records.
District Records.
Yes.
And see her work and see the beautiful jewelry. I'm so glad you came
Oh,
in, and
thank
come in
you.
again, because we like to get to the audience to know our artists.
Okay, thank
Thank
you
so much. We'll be right back.